If you shit in the sink at exactly 4:20 a.m. and yell Amogus 69 times, a shadowy figure called Mom will come to beat you up, and you will wake up in a place called the orphanage.
48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking. Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking, 48 minutes of dogs barking.
Jason, I see you're drinking Miller Lite here.
I am indeed.
Is it because you're rebelling against the woke Bud Light?
No, it's because I hate Bud Light.
Yeah, you know what's a funny thing about all of that whole thing?
Yeah,
the transgendered woman, social media person, and all the bored suburban white guys that have no their monologue other than like, I don't want to be gay.
Right.
It's just I always thought guys that drank Bud Light were a little hey anyways. You know what? I always thought like, you don't want to drink a real shit beer. Like if I gave you like a fucking Olympia,
yeah, you wouldn't know what to do with it.
You would melt like one of the dudes from fucking
Raiders of the Lost. Okay,
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Either one. Either one works. Yeah.
Yeah. Either. Yeah. It just. I was like, I don't know if Bud Light was ever a manly beer. If we're going to talk about like toxic masculinity, it was always kind of like, oh, you're a pussy.
Yeah, because most of the people,
real men drink stuff that doesn't taste good
on
ever.
Purpose. Yeah,
like if you let us like the reason why Stag is called the cold gold is because you have to drink it ice cold because otherwise it tastes like runoff.
Right. Like even if you open a Stag can and it's like. It for some reason the metal smells gross. Like it's just there's just something off about it.
Stag, like drinking a can of Stag, it's like trying to get that little bit last of the juice out of like a hypodermic needle you find on the ground.
You're
not drinking Stag because it's fun.
No,
and the monologue, the inner monologue of bored, shitty, like middle-aged white men that are just like a sentient fucking thumb with a pair of Oakleys is like their idea of like protest and boycotting is like buying shit and then destroying it.
Right. Or Kid Rock setting up a sawhorse and just like blowing away a 12-pack or something.
Apparently it fucking hurt his hand doing it. Amazing.
Well, Will Stansel has a great tweet about it. So much of the right lives entirely inside a cartoon universe of cultural signifiers. Like, I know in the head of the original poster that he's referring to, Bud Light equals no college equals straight homophobe, but how much brain power does it require to figure out that many gay people probably also drink cheap beer?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are broke.
Yeah, because the society, Mr. Producer, society is keeping the quiz down. I won't stand for this.
Obama,
you let him get married,
right?
But you won't let him have equality. Show Obama.
I'm sorry. Every time it's gonna get me.
My girlfriend still teases me about
sure.
Every time I do that voice around her, like, you know, you did that in front of Jason at one time. And you're just killing that man.
Oh, it was great. I love it. The Dalai Lama got canceled.
Yeah,
you hear this? You hear this?
Yeah. So I guess this defers to me because I'm a white guy in the Midwest with a Buddhist tattoo. So there is a lot of stuff in Buddhism that's Mahayana Buddhism, the big vehicle. So you're one person trying to get the most people into enlightenment, over the path. So you could see someone like the Dalai Lama or a Buddhist teacher as like the raft that gets people from one side to the other.
Sure. They're a vessel. Yeah.
So particularly in Mahayana Buddhism, there is a weird hang up with sexuality, which I think is like most religions.
Yeah. For those of you who were not keeping up with the Dalai Lama's comings and goings, by the way,
he killed a kid.
Yeah, no,
just straight up, walloped a kid with a giant prayer wheel.
No,
and he cracked open the prayer wheel and he read the scroll inside. It says "use a bitch."
Yeah,
no, then he pissed on the kid.
No, what really happened was that he kissed a child on the lips and then said something that sounded like "suck my tongue."
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of debate about this because a common Tibetan greeting is "I stuck out my tongue." It may have been one of those weird things.
Because I stuck out my tongue, but he's also like a religious teacher,
right?
And Tibetan Buddhism has all kinds of fucking baggage attached to it that's, I think, outside of the scope of this podcast. But look up what Tibet was like before Chinese communism, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I could see why Mao would be like, man, this is bad. They had serfs, they had child slaves.
Yeah.
It's not the best face of Buddhism ever in the world. Sexuality in Buddhism, there's some weird shit. There are certain Chinese Buddhist teachers that way back in the day, they kind of figured out the same thing that a lot of sex cults figured out, like, oh, you should let your daughters have sex with me first. The Buddhist teachers and all that. Or one wrote that you shouldn't put your penis in the trunk of an elephant, which makes you think that someone probably had to have done it and be like, you know what, that's not the move. That ain't the move, chief.
The fact that they had to
another
write it out,
Buddhist teacher that wrote, it's okay for a Buddhist monk to have sex only if he is woken in the night by a young woman on top of him.
Okay.
So, like kind of like a free use Buddhist monk.
Some sort of early NTR thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Buddhism and sexuality has always been a little weird. And sometimes there is a playfulness in the mind of Buddhists and Buddhist teachers that can seem a little inappropriate.
Right.
To Westerners, and so it's like I see how people like, oh, see, like all religious teachers are creepy pedophiles, just like the Catholics and all that. And it's like, also maybe he just like in a way just doesn't know better, and maybe it is kind of an innocent thing. But I'm going to say, as a white guy in the Midwest with a Buddhist tattoo, shit kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Kind of like, this is why I don't kind of fuck with Tibetan Buddhism, and I stick with the Zen shit,
right?
Because you don't have like a centralized teacher.
That is definitely helpful, not having that. So the Dalai Lama did respond to this, apologizing to the family and the boy. Let me see.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Welcome to 48 Minutes Dogs Barking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm Brian. My nerds rope too long. My girl too shy. This is Jason. Who forgets that we have an audience and we're not just bullshitting in the Tower Grove Chalet.
He say I'm good enough. Look at my da-da-da. That's all I know about that. Yeah, so welcome to the show, everybody. Sorry, we kind of...
Anyways, back to the Dalai Lama being the pediatrist.
The Dalai Lama did issue a statement. His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident, to which Twitter user Alicia Zone. Dalai Lama pedo notes app apology Twitter post sounds like an MK Ultra activation phrase. And I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and
there's also the part where the Dalai Lama being like a CIA asset and all that. I was actually once traveling through the mountains in Colorado with a couple friends, and we found like a bunch of like rundown buildings, and there was a plaque that was like where the CIA trained like the Tibetan Buddhist monks in the 50s and 60s, and there was like this quote from like there's a quote from one of the commanders, or that was a part of this project that was like, we fought with them together and we died, and when they died we cried as if they were our brothers. Okay. It was like just like one of those weird things like, yeah, but kind of CIA.
Yeah. There has been a new development in the world of beans, Brian.
Oh, is there one that doesn't make you shit out your doo-doo ass?
I don't know. So London advertising executives Tom Snell and Dylan Hardigan have gone viral for making a food item no one asked for. 2 tins of Heinz baked beans mashed into one gigantic tomato sauce soaked bean. Here is a photo of it. I asked the question earlier on the web, but I'm throwing it to you now. Would you eat the big bean?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Fucking YOLO.
It's just it looks like an uncooked piece of chicken. Unfortunately,
it doesn't look really appetizing. I feel like the presentation could be better. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. It's just, and the sauce that it's soaked in is like they said it's a tomato-based sauce, which that doesn't feel like it goes with beans unless you're cooking chili. Now, as a joke, I would have a chili, and this is the only bean in it, just floating in there
Just
like
the
a
one
turd
bean?
in a toilet bowl.
Oh God.
Just the one bean. One bean chili is what you'd call it.
There I tell you a story about how my sister once baked a cake, and my sister's kind of famously in my family not really good cooking.
Okay.
She's gotten much better since the time of when the story occurred.
Since
But at the
the
time
cake
my sister's
incident.
cooking was pretty wild. It was it was like a little bit Miles Davis, and
And that she was doing morphine.
might as well.
That's all I could think.
She baked a cake for Christmas one year,
Yeah.
and my aunt was like, I don't mean to alarm everyone, but there's a completely like solid yolk in my piece of cake. I mean, and yeah.
Oh, gross.
Oh yeah, no, it's not great. But that's what the giant bean reminds me of.
It's that random fully cooked yolk in your cake. Yeah, not great. Unless you're making a quiche, you know. But
No,
that's
I
probably
mean it was like
not
kind
the-
of like a quiche, but no, it was like supposed to be like a chocolate cake or something.
Oh no! Oh
Carrot
boy!
cake. I don't know. My family's into weird cakes. Like it's never just like can't it just be like a normal
Right.
like yellow cake with like buttercream icing. It's got to be like some weird shit like this is like what like the Mormons ate when they were kicked out of like Colorado, and you're like,
Oh,
don't
why? Yeah.
like I want to eat frontier cake. This is cake that Johnny Appleseed ate when he was fostering all them saplings in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Paul Bunyan cake.
Okay.
Just like some dumb Americana shit. This is
Yeah.
the Paul Bunyan cake. This is what they ate in Kansas before money existed or something. I don't know. It's just like always some weird Americana shit.
Really? That's
Yeah.
very bizarre.
And like Watergate salad or whatever the fuck it's called.
Not really sure which-
Ambrosia salad. I don't know. There's just like a lot of stuff that like tastes good, and then someone says, "Oh, I can't believe you're eating something with mayonnaise in it," and you're like,
Yeah.
"A dessert with mayonnaise."
Don't tell me what's in it.
Yeah, please let me like. It's the same thing with like eggnog. I can eat eggnog
Mm-hmm.
if you don't make me think about what's going on with it.
Yeah, I'll drink it.
Don't make me contemplate. Don't make me understand the shame.
Yes, especially if it's the Evan Williams one with the whiskey in it. That's a nog worth drinking.
I don't think I've drank eggnog since like grade school.
Yeah.
I think because I had a family member make me think about what I was doing a little too much, and I was like, "Yo, I'm out. I'm going back to just getting like really sick off of the Reese's."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So a couple weeks ago, I neglected to mention this during our last broadcast, but something pissed me the fuck off, and it's a local thing, so it's very niche. But if you live here in St. Louis, you may have seen this. KMOX, which is our local news talk station, put out a poll online about what the best sandwich is. It was the sandwich bracket.
We're going to Gary Gayman Studio 2 to see what the best sandwich in St. Louis is. Gary Gayman, what's the best sandwich in St. Louis?
We tallied up all the votes there, Jeff, and found out that Paschetti's was the favorite sandwich of St. Louis.
Wow, that's very interesting. I guess there's a lot of diabetics voting in this.
Okay, you got me with that one. Yeah, they're probably true, but
I remember one time getting Paschetti's for a band at the Firebird, and them being like, "This, what the fuck's in this
yeah,
bread?
what is going on?
Am I eating cake?"
Is this a joke? Yeah.
Yeah, it is the sugariest bread. I mean, they're good sandwiches, but boy, I've seen some people just go like, "I'm sorry, I thought I was eating a sandwich and not a piece of candy."
Right. Or like a dessert. It's just very strange.
If you leave a piece of Paschetti's bread by an anthill, you will kill the colony.
Well, what's crazy is that, like, we live in an area with a lot of sandwiches. Obviously, there were enough places to fill.
How far did Gramophone get, or did not even get on there because it's only county trash?
Let's see here. Gramophone made it for the first 3 rounds. Gramophone beat out Nomad, Zito's Deli, but then it was Gramophone versus Legrand's, and Legrand's for some reason won that one.
I don't get that. I feel like Gramophone probably dollar is probably the best sandwich in St. Louis. I mean, there's plenty of places to eat in St. Louis that are delicious, but I feel like Gramophone is the top tier.
Yeah, I would definitely put it up there. I mean, Blue City Deli did the same thing. Blue City Deli, I'm a big fan of them. They made it for the first 3 rounds as well, beating out Southwest Market, Adriana's, And then when they took on Legrand's won it again. So it was.
I'm not even sure if I had Legrand's.
I've had it once, and they're good. I wouldn't say they're all that good. Joya's, same thing. First 3 rounds, they beat Subdivision, Carl's Deli, and Mom's Deli. Or no, they faced off against Mom's Deli. Mom's Deli won that one. I don't care for Mom's Deli.
It's okay.
It's all right.
I have less enthusiasm for their food when I find out that it's like very cop shoppy.
Yeah. Crown Candy, which is there's like one sandwich they make, and it's the bacon sandwich.
The BLT is amazing.
It's great.
The BLT is a juggernaut. Let's not.
Oh no, I had to split it. I couldn't do it myself.
If you come to St. Louis, that's like one of the probably 5 things you should eat is like get a shake or a malt from Crown Candy and get a BLT and just shave off 5 years of your life.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
it's like they if I remember correctly, they weave the bacon in, so it's like a lattice.
Yeah, and it's like a pound of bacon.
It's like a pound of bacon. It's
per
amazing.
Sandwich. Yeah,
dude. Like FHM writers in 2009 must have loved that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Crown Candy. Obviously, they got stopped by Pischetti's, Viviano's, and Amighetti's. We're at a dead heat. Amighetti's definitely is up there. Their bread's phenomenal. But yeah, so it was just a weird thing, and the fact that this. Okay, so to set.
But you know what? We're talking about it, so you know what.
I know, but to set the scene though, because some of the people listening to the show are not St. Louis people. So Pischetti's is in a very odd little corner of this little area of South City. It's by all the strip malls and stuff, and it's like really kind of out of the way. And it's this little shack, like it looks like it used to be a Pizza Hut. I don't know if that's actually what it was, but it's this little shack, and it's just like generic Italian food. But for some reason, they have this rabid following that loves this bread that is entirely too sweet. So I don't get it.
I'm never going to say it's bad bread, but
it's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
Yeah.
It's too sweet. Jerry, it's too sweet. I'm saying the bread's too sweet.
What is the deal with the bread? What is the deal with WWE, Brian?
Well, with Vince McMahon back, I don't know.
Oh no!
Everything's a fucking problem. What we got here? Wrestling shall set you free.
So this is according to NBC News. WWE apologizing for using Auschwitz footage in a WrestleMania promo.
Yeah, they used it in the promo. And the promo package for Dominic Mysterio, Prison Dom, I should say. Yeah. The angle they're working with, that's so fucking funny, and it's good. But it's absolutely amazing that they just somehow mistook Auschwitz, I think, for another...
just any prison.
Any other prison? Like, damn, I guess he is hardcore if he survived Auschwitz.
and looking, fairly young for that.
Yeah. How he's very clever.
So the Auschwitz Memorial, of course, responding, the fact that Auschwitz image was used to promote a WWE match is hard to call an editing mistake. Exploiting the site that became a symbol of egregious human tragedy is shameless and insults the memory of all victims of Auschwitz.
I guess they haven't been watching the product for the last couple of years, because it kind of sometimes feels like,
No, what?
It's... The joke is that the product's bad most of the time,
okay,
and now it's bad again because Vince McMahon's back.
Yes.
So it kind of, you know what? I'll let Nick Mullen take that joke. You can run with it, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. The Mario movie came out. Everyone's up in arms about it, one way or the other. It's what I like to call Schrodinger's woke movie. Either it is or it isn't. Who the fuck knows?
It's I don't know if it is or isn't. It sounds like a missed opportunity, just as like a movie goes.
Yeah, but I mean, here's 4 YouTube thumbnails just seemingly picked at random. Mario goes woke. Mario going woke. Too much girl boss. But then of course Steven Crowder saying the anti-woke Super Mario Brothers movie just set a global record. The anti-woke Super Mario Brothers movie.
That also sounds like an MK Ultra like activation phrase.
Yeah, I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills. And the fact that, first of all, fuck Steven Crowder. Let's just get that out of the way. But the fact that this Yahoo is just spending, 2 minutes on his program crowing about it as though he had something to do with anything.
They consulted me, and I said Bowser should have a spiked penis.
Right.
Man, it's just one of those things where, like, who gives a shit? It's a big, glossy
it's
CGI
an Illumination
movie. It's the Illumination. It's the fucking the Despicable Me people. So it's like the
Yeah.
fact that they apparently made something that wasn't completely terrible.
Right.
It seems amazing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the whole culture war thing, and these people have to line their pockets with outrage and faux or earnest or otherwise.
It sucks, man.
It sucks. feels bad.
Just terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really weird. The Pulp Fiction references in the movie felt a little dated.
20-minute analingus scene really threw me off.
It's
I think. It was really...
the homage to Brown Bunny in the Mario Kart section was really weird.
And then at the end where they have Luigi reenact the scene from Come and See, I don't really know what that was in there for.
Yeah.
All the nods to Sallow, I don't really know who that was for.
Yeah, you know what? You could definitely see the inspiration from a Serbian film. And it's like, the part where Luigi, he has like his Jacob's Ladder moment.
Yeah.
Why I heard the thing that makes it insufferable is all the fucking licensed music just being whatever joy is out of the film. When you have Koji Kondo and all these other people that have made who wrote original music for the movie apparently that didn't get used.
And you got Koji Kondo. He's going to give you bangers.
Yeah.
The guy...
His whole entire life is good shit.
Just
like,
why would you put an 80s pop song in where you could have Koji Kondo hit you with the... I don't know, dude. It
just seems...
weird. It's weird. It's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice. I'll be waiting for it to show up on HBO Go or Max or
whatever
it's just called Max
it's just
now.
Max now, yeah.
Yeah.
Last bit of weirdness from the internet this week, courtesy of a good friend of the program, Rory Blank, a.k.a. Bone Jail, on Twitter there.
Is he the guy that has the T-shirt site that's called like getting hand jobs from the president?
I don't know that that's what it's called. I know he had skeletonwizard.biz. I know he had a couple other ones.
I think I have one of his shirts that's about unlearn how to read.
I have one of his that's the big image from Uzumaki with the spiraling eye girl, and then it's Porky Pig coming out of it going, that's all, folks.
Amazing. Yeah, I have the one that's like unlearn how to read.
Yeah.
Mind wizards are assaulting you with propaganda, and
nice.
Yeah, it's a really weird shirt to be wearing when you like run into a person that lives in the same apartment building as you that you don't really know, and you're just like, oh hey, how's it going? And I was wearing this big like shirt that says unlearn how to read.
Yes. Yeah, I have the unlicensed Simpsons parody one that he did where like the background text is just the entire text of the copyright law regarding fair use and parody. So
amazing.
So he posts, what level of cyberpunk dystopia is a YouTube channel that seems to auto-generate obituary videos of still living celebrities narrated by a robot voice. Among the ones that we have pictured here, we've got Chris Christopherson. Let's see here. Martin Sheen, Sally Jesse Raphael, Martha Stewart, Joe Pesci, Dolly Parton, Peter Strayhorn, Liza Minnelli. None of these people have died.
I thought Chris Christopherson was dead. Or was that Eddie Money?
That was Eddie Money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, forgive me.
He did not have 2 tickets to paradise, as it turns out, inshallah. But but this account, I had to search for it. I had to find these. And I watched a couple of them this afternoon, not 2-3 hours ago. And now the account is terminated. The video is no longer available because the YouTube account associated with this
we weren't
video.
supposed to find...
And that was all part of the plan. You see, Q had been telling us.
Q had been telling us that Joe Pesci was murdered in a FEMA camp below the Sears Tower.
And that Hillary Clinton ate his liver. Yeah, I've been there.
Did a sparkle party or sparkle dance or where the fuck that shit was called.
Are you referring to Frazzle Drip? Or
there we go, Frazzle Drip.
Because that's the fake video where it's supposedly her eating someone's face. The other one is Maria Abramovic spirit cooking.
There we go.
Either one works. So I think it's time for a crypto scam of the week, Brian.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the crypto scam of the week.
Aside from celebrities having their kidneys eaten, I think it's time
to talk about some real people and their
real
consequences.
Pain. Yeah. So, are you familiar with GDAC? You know what
I've
GDAC
heard of it
is?
once or twice. Yeah, an exchange. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an exchange. It's a South Korean crypto exchange, and it was hacked for about 13 million on Sunday. This courtesy of CoinDesk.
On Easter.
Yeah, I know.
The Lord was risen, and He said, "Get bent."
He said, "You're not going to 4x this, bitch," and flipped him the bird. South Korea, so courtesy of CoinDesk, South Korean crypto exchange GDAC was hacked for $13 million on Sunday. They transferred $13 million worth of crypto, 23% of its total custodial assets from GDAC's hot wallet to an unidentified wallet. And they listed it out: 61 bitcoins, 350.5 ETH, 10 million WeMix tokens, and 220,000 USDT. GDAC has notified the authorities. Of course, this isn't the most recent one. We've covered a couple of these before. Ronin Bridge, Sushi was exploited for somewhere in the middle of like 3 and some change million. But man, GDAC, I don't know, South Korean stuff. You always have that edge of, well, it's not covered by securities exchanges or whatever. It's one of those things.
The
where,
laws in Korea are really particular,
right?
I can't remember if they are too strict or they are too loose, but
Right.
apparently they're not something.
Yeah. Cointelegraph saying the attacker gained control of some of the exchange's hot wallet. Yeah, GDAC is asking crypto exchanges not to honor deposits made from the addresses that performed the attack. Of course, the CEO saying, "We don't know when withdrawals will be resumed." Not much details other than that is known at the time. It's really just one of those things where, like, crypto spaces and hot wallets, you're kind of playing with fire there a little bit, just because any number of exploits are already out there.
Yeah. I feel like we've been hitting the same kind of note for this segment just because, like, where the market is. But I don't know if you noticed, I think the last time we really talked about the price of Bitcoin, it was like the low 20s.
I think so, yeah.
And now I think it just did a little weenie tap on 30K.
Yeah?
And if, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty on the real fucking nerd shoe shit, but if certain things flip from resistance to support, and we start seeing Bitcoin move past 30, I imagine we're going to see more. Obviously, that means more money is coming back into the space, which means more fresh blood, which means more weird fucking scams. There's going to probably be some weird shit where a guy like fucking gets catfished, empties his bank account,
Right.
so someone can buy an NFT of, like, I don't know, a devil girl,
Right.
with her feet positioned at the camera, like some real pervert shit.
Feet, guys. I don't understand it. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, you're right there, knocking on 30,000. 29,980 today.
God help us if Bitcoin gets back to like 60K, because it's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
Oh, yeah. Well, between that and then all the auxiliaries and all the ones that are kind of using Bitcoin as a canary in the coal mine, as it were, you're going to see a lot of that.
Well, there's going to be a halving soon.
Break that down for me. What's
that
the
usually? I think it's when it happens in the next like 180 days. And so what that means is that the difficulty for solving the equations or whatever to produce a part of a Bitcoin increases by 50%.
Okay.
Or becomes 50% more difficult. So the last halving was in 2019. Typically, I forget the exact amount of time, but usually after that event, it's usually a signifier that a bull run will begin again, which means we'll probably see something next year or two. And again, that just means more fresh blood for scammers and weirdos and hype beasts and guys that spend like $200 on a pair of fucking joggers and shit like that.
Yeah, I can't ever imagine spending that much on a pair of joggers. That's just nuts to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've like spent like $100 before. But
Sure, that's kind of my ceiling, though.
yeah, they're really comfy.
Sure.
They're like really nice to make my legs look really impressive.
I would imagine.
I mean, I got impressive legs already, but
Right.
I mean, it really seals the deal. Like, oh man, this guy's got gams. Hey, that fucking wheezy looking nerd, he looks like he could crush a fucking watermelon between those thighs, and it's true. I probably could if I had my inhaler.
You'd probably make money online doing that too. Anyway,
I wish.
handsomemanthathleticthighs.net. I think we could make that work. Not .com, because we can't afford that. But we're not made of money here. Anyway, get this business off the ground, though. We might be. But oh yeah, there it goes. It did $30,000 and as we were speaking,
we did it. We were market makers.
This is obviously not financial advice. Please do not invest.
Please
in
do not.
Bitcoin
Please
based on
don't.
what
Please
we say here.
If you want to do fucking paper trading and play along like that, sure, understand how financial markets work because it's some weird fucking witchcraft shit.
Yeah,
And it makes you realize that money isn't real.
Right.
And I really do suggest anyone that has left-leaning politics to understand like finances and all that. Because then you're just like, oh wow, this really is a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
And then it makes you want to like a bank up even more. So should we move over to the main topic?
I think we should because unlike a lot of other things that we talk about on this show, this one is actually still around. Hasn't been any posts. Nobody's been updating it, but it is still around. You can still go see it.
The perfect companion, the Thug Kitchen.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. This, of course, stuffwhitepeoplelike.com. The subtitle, of course, this blog is devoted to stuff that white people like.
Boy, that's some like 2009 humor.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Really,
And you're only off by a year. It was created in January 2008. So, yes.
right, but I think of this, I think of like indie sleaze. I think of going to very bad theme nights like Dollar Bin or fucking London Calling.
Right.
Dating girls that wore like high-waist skirts, but
Yeah.
with striped tops and got like blackout drunk off of like Rumplemints.
Oof.
Yeah, some really weird vibes.
Or
when I
like
think
3
about
cans of Sparks,
Oh God, bring back Sparks. You can get in Wisconsin, I think. Still.
That's amazing. Now I know where I'm going on vacation next. So yes, stuff white people like. Supposedly
I don't know.
satirical in nature, although it just really feels like when you read through some of these posts, it's just a catalog of stuff that white people at the time may have been obsessed with.
Yeah, I mean, like Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, but see that.
I mean, there really was.
I know.
Ray-Ban Wayfarers.
Yep.
Banksy.
2008. We got to think. 2008.
Where the Wild Things Are. Yeah, that was kind of part of the indie sleaze.
Yeah. Roller derby, TED Talks. The World Cup.
Vespas.
Picking your own fruit.
Mad Men. Boy, white people, aren't we so square?
Yeah, I mean, geez.
Moleskin notebooks.
Halloween. That's it? It's just
funny or ironic tattoos. How many chicks did you know that like always were wearing like an oversized beanie that had like a mustache tattoo? I knew like 3.
I think my cousin still has the one on her finger from that time period. Yeah. I know. Classical music. Here we go.
Taking a year off.
Sea
salt.
The
thing that black people don't like, but white people we just can't get enough of.
Love it. Unpaid internships. Now, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Girls with bangs. Who doesn't like that?
Ugly sweater parties, which is bad. The faux for ugly sweater parties, that's number 118.
Yeah.
Has a black person in it, which makes you wonder: is that a white person in blackface?
Oh God!
Oh God. No! Well, stuff white people like blackface.
See, that would have been really
not using enough seasoning. A political prisoners, boy,
Woo.
that's
not true.
That is a neoliberal.
Not true. Yeah.
I mean, black music that black people don't listen to anymore. You know what? That is true. I hate to say it.
Sure.
I remember going to an ice cream shop in Omaha, Nebraska. That was, I hate to say it, really fucking good ice cream. But there was like a Crosby or like the cheap fucking horrible record player that destroys your records.
Yeah.
In the corner, and it was hooked up to a respectable sound system, like playing like old Wu-Tang, and I'm like, I'm living like a very bad Brooklyn circa 2009 joke in 2017.
Yeah. Here's number 101: being offended.
Well,
oh boy, bumper stickers.
Is there? I hope one of them is voting.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Scarves.
I'll just vote the problem away.
New Balance shoes. That's not.
I'm wearing New Balances though, and
free health care. Like, is this a problem?
You do definitely feel this is like a guy that like thought Obama was left as we needed to go.
They reference Michael Moore's documentary Sicko because that was at the time, so I guess that's actually thematically appropriate.
So now, instead of us just reading off shit, so what is Stuff White? Who's the man? Who's the brain genius behind this experiment?
The brain genius behind the experiment is, you'll never guess.
Is it a white man?
It is a white man.
No, he looks like he's Jewish.
White Canadian Christian Lander.
Whoa.
Christian Lander. The Vatican's own lunar module. Christian Lander. Christian Lander 1. Come in. This is the Vatican. Over.
I've
No.
found God.
Anyway, he
He's
co-authored.
very warm.
He was a copywriter in Los Angeles. You don't say.
A guy who writes for a living.
Wow. Grew up in Toronto. Okay.
That's definitely like I think that's like the most like neoliberal white city in Canada. So this kind of tracks.
This is my favorite sentence in the whole bio, though. Lander co-authored the site with his Filipino-Canadian friend, Miles Valentin.
God, that must be the world's shortest person.
I just got it. I was like, oh, yeah. After Valentin teased Lander for watching The Wire. Yes, so the blog became very popular. 300,000 daily hits and over 40 million total hits in all of 9 months of existence. 40 million hits.
I remember showing this to my brother, and he was like, "Oh, this is really funny." Boy, I wouldn't want to know anyone that enjoys this though.
Well, right, and it's really
I remember going
ridiculous.
to a Borders and seeing it on one of the front tables next to the zombie survival guide.
Oh, we haven't got there yet. Yes, there was a book. July of 2008, so not 6 months after the blog was created.
Yeah.
They got a fucking book deal. How does that work? Anyway, sorry. Lander is listed as the sole author of the book, by the way, but some of the posts were created by the Filipino-Canadian friend. So, again, not really sure how that works.
Oh, look he's on a fucking fixie.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing a cardigan. Or, he's like a
He's
vest.
got a fucking baguette in his bag. This is a
fuck
photo
this guy.
of
I'm going to murder him.
taken by a relative, by the way. Photo supplied by Jess Lander. I'm assuming sister or mother or
why not both?
Well, yeah,
he's Canadian, you know.
Hey.
Canadians sure love fucking their own family. The incestuous Canadian. That's what my father owns. So don't let a Canadian stay in your house overnight. Don't lodge a Canadian. You might sneak in his sister and fuck her on your kitchen table. I said, Dad? Noted.
Yeah.
And he went back to hitting me with a Hot Wheels track because I forgot to put the BB gun away. So, boy, you think it's funny not to put your BB gun back? Well, take your shirt off. Don't you cry. Pick a shorter segment.
Right.
It's like I'm like a poor kid in the South picking his own Switch. I'm picking the segment of Hot Wheels track.
Tracks, yeah.
Don't get. Oh, if you keep going for them long ones, I'm gonna grab a launcher piece.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna hit you with the plastic.
Oh boy. So here's one thing that I really fucked me up. $350,000 was the advance for the Stuff White People Like book.
The book,
which is just a compilation of posts. It's just a bunch of posts.
And Drill can't even get an advance on his books, and he's a genius.
Exactly. What is the world coming? The full title, by the way, of the book: Stuff White People Like: A Definitive Guide to the Unique Taste of Millions. All right. I think there's a lot of stuff to unpack here, but the big thing that to me is you're gonna get people offended by saying oh, what? Just because I like Miller Lite or whatever, whatever it is. Oh, I'm some kind of stereotypical white guy.
You love Poundin' Hole? You like Poundin' Hole there, Miller Lite boy? Why don't you go home and be straight?
All right. Already planning on doing that, but all right. I guess I could be convinced either way, but
here I am, drinking my Athletic Brewing and trying to contemplate the meaning of life and what it means to be a good person while you're over there pounding hole.
Fellas, is it gay to contemplate the meaning of life?
Let me go suck on the Dalai Lama's tongue.
Why are you, as a man, contemplating the...
Why are you as a man? Oh, God.
No, so, yeah.
Oh, geez, you're sounding like a female influ. Why are you, as a man, born in February?
I love that one. That's so good. So, yeah, Lander dropped out of a PhD program at Indiana University, quoting in this NPR piece from 2008. It says the idea is intended to make fun of stereotypes and start conversations about them. And he succeeded, according to this NPR writer. Lander managed to get thousands of people to talk about racial stereotypes, to question their own assumptions, and to factor class and education into discussions of racial identity. No, he fucking didn't.
No. This is
I'm sorry, man.
So what is he doing now? What's his life like now that he discovered what white people like?
Really, a lot of the stuff that I've seen...
He's joining the anti-Assad forces in Syria.
Well, he would now be 44 years of age.
Did he write more than one book?
He did indeed write more than one book. There were 2 sequels to the book. There's the original Stuff White People Like. The follow-up, Wider Shades of Pale.
Fuck!
The subtitle to that one, The Stuff White People Like, Coast to Coast, from Seattle's Sweaters to Maine's Microbrews.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, no, the reviews, apparently, are very good.
Oh? What did NPR have to say about it?
Exactly. Dwight Garner from the New York Times, even better for the praise. Excellent. Few people alive are as deft at this satire as is Mr. Lander. His books are painfully observant, and they take you places The Daily Show and The Onion, those reliable dispensers of elite wit, mostly don't. No, they're fucking not! Sorry. Anyway. They are among the prickliest guides through the American status system since Paul Fussell's Class. Okay, this is the point of the show where I have to stop myself from saying something incredibly offensive, but,
we should
Thank you, Brian.
drag his behind a fixie and then have the members of Montreal, of Montreal, feast upon his so they too may be bland and uninspiring.
And in 2014, Lander wrote a 3rd book called
White People, What's Up With Us?
No. Stuff South African White People Like. Expensive sandwiches.
I've got me furrow my mustache.
Yeah.
Jason, if you could stop liking the same things as the white people like up here.
I will do my best, Alan. Thank you.
I grew up in South Africa.
Expensive sandwiches, he says. MMA. Threatening to emigrate. It's all here.
The sandwiches are so expensive in South Africa.
They are so expensive. So, yes, it says, so sit back on your L-shaped leather couch, crack a craft beer, and lose yourself in this guide to the variable whiteness of being.
I would rather be slowly crushed by a 500 horsepower electric motor made of piss.
He also, in that sentence, makes reference to the unbearable lightness of being, which is actually an enjoyable read compared to this shit. I didn't realize that when we started researching this episode that I would get
upset,
nuclear levels of pissed off. Are
you getting self-pissed for picking this choice?
I kind of am.
I mean, I picked it, but you're the one that said yes.
Yeah. Here's an excerpt from Stuff White People Like. Coffee. Yes, there's no doubt that white people love coffee. Yes, it's true that Asians like iced coffee, and people of all races enjoy a cup. But it certainly is that first person at your school to drink coffee was a white person. It's obvious that they didn't enjoy it, but they did it anyway until they liked it, like cigarettes. As white people begin to age... Oh, I can't fucking do this, dude.
The North American honky first smokes a cigarette at age 13.
Right. It's just... It's got
and
this,
becomes...
like, faux...
and has a 2-pack-a-day habit by the time they walk across the stage, if they get that far. If they haven't already entered a life of teen pregnancy and hookah.
Yeah. White people...
do white people love hookah?
Yeah,
do white people love hookah and cassette tapes?
Yeah.
Ironic sneakers. Well, they said New Balance sneakers. So
that's
I guess
true. Yeah.
God, this is.
Oh no! Here's another one. This one's sure to piss you off. Religions their parents don't belong to. White people will often say they're spiritual but not religious. This usually means they'll believe in any religion that doesn't involve Jesus. The most popular choices include Buddhism, Hinduism, Kabbalah, and to a lesser extent, Scientology. A few even dip to Islam, but that's much rarer since you have to make real sacrifices and actually go to a mosque. For the most part, white people prefer religions that produce artifacts and furniture that fit into their home or wardrobe. They are also particularly drawn to religions that do not require a lot of commitment or donations. When a white person tells you, I'm a Buddhist/Hindu/Kabbalist, the best thing to do is ask how they arrived at their religious decision. The story will likely involve a trip to Thailand or a college class on religion.
My brother gave me an Alan Watts book.
See?
Which is a pretty common story for some people
Sure.
that find themselves interested in Asian philosophy and religion,
Right.
whether it's Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and God forbid if you really got to be that different, Jainism.
Yeah. Well, like, I read Siddhartha. That's what got me interested in Buddhism. Like, I read Hermann Hesse. So Christian Lander is on Instagram, by the way.
Send him a request.
Christian.Lander, father of twin boys, it says, husband, owner of 2 cats.
Oh, that's a white person trait. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm going to have 2 kids at once.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at you.
Yeah, because I'm. Yeah.
Look at you, honky.
Yeah.
Look at you.
A dumpling eater, briefly internet famous. No, the fuck you weren't. Christian, give us a call, 314 Ahoy Poo. I promise we won't roast you too hard. So, I'm sorry. There's just something. Okay, this whole thing. Like, this is a white guy digging on his own people in a way.
Yeah.
That is like mean.
That's fine.
It
but
felt mean spirited. Some of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's kind of like a no risk thing.
Sure, it's safe.
That is like the easiest thing for a white comedian to do is be like, aren't white people so weird? Like, we're always wearing shoes and like going to college.
Always wearing shoes.
Going to college and having bread with like nuts in it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
White people, hey, white folks, why you always worry about your mileage? White people sure love getting over 30 miles per gallon. Why are white people always checking the tread on their tire?
That's true.
This is the penny my grandfather used to check the tread on his tire with.
He has it marked and everything. He knows where it is. Because it's not all white people that he's talking about. He's really talking about city-dwelling urbanites, like people that shop at Urban Outfitters that would buy his fucking book, first of all. So that's a whole nother... I guess in a way it's like, here's a mirror. Boy, aren't you weird for doing this?
I sure love being white and wearing a cardigan that makes me look like a pedophile.
Boy, cable knit sweaters sure are my favorite thing.
I love buying Wu-Tang records on vinyl and ironically drinking cheap beer, going to see Mayor Hawthorne in concert.
Salon.com, by the way, a bastion of white people themselves. The author of Stuff White People Like skewers the sacred cows of lefty Caucasian culture. From the Prius to David Sedaris, it gently mocks the habits and
What
pretensions.
if David Sedaris was a Prius?
I think it'd go a little something like this.
So take a look at the frequently bought together there.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, the
So
sequel.
it's the two books. And then what's that third book?
Oh, God!
Y'all telling on yourself.
The third book is Baratunde Thurston's book, How to Be Black. Wow. Oh, boy.
Oh, hachi machi.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Whoa.
How to Be Black. Let's see. A New York Times bestseller, which, okay.
What year was it published?
Christian Lander called it one of the smartest and funniest books he's ever read. Yeah, you wrote fucking Stuff White People Like. Any book that's better than that would be the smartest book
That's
you've
it.
ever read, you dumb son of a bitch!
That's it. I'm writing the book called How to Be Filipino.
Not really sure how to follow that up.
Speaking of stuff white people
Yeah.
like, how about shock.jpg there, brother?
Oh, boy.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
We got a doozy for you this week, Brian. Presented by the fellas at the Gay N-Words of America.
Oh, the GNAA?
The GNAA brought us this website. If you want to play along at home, do be warned that it will go full screen and crank your volume up and say, "I'm looking at gay porn" while you look at it. So just
all right, let's fire up.
So it is internetcri.me, the GNAA logo, private security vuln 0-day database, which of course is BS. You then click enter site, and it is a guy with a prodigious member hanging it, and then it's and then in the background it's, "Hey everybody, I'm looking at gay porno." It's, "Hey everybody, I'm looking at gay porno," and it tries to full screen. And much to Brian's dismay, of course, this is a looping GIF of a guy honking it through the boxers again. We're back on this again.
I think through the boxers is a coward's move. What does the text say?
It says, "Are you 1S son?" I don't know what that refers to.
Run ones. I don't know.
I don't understand the reference.
Please email us.
Yeah,
or text us or harass us online.
Please, if you know what the heck that means, or
we're white and we don't understand
stuff white people like, not understanding anything online.
Yeah. I imagine because it's a black man with a prestigious member that it involves some secret cultural thing that I myself, a man from the Caucasus Mountains, could not understand.
With an average low-sized member, yeah.
My dick doesn't even work.
Right, so there's that.
That man's dick works too well.
Very clearly. Was very
God, you
good. Sorry, I had to close it because I'm just like staring at it.
There's a little bit of forced perspective going on there.
There has to be, sure. It's
but
like
it kind of looks like a thing that should be wearing a shoe.
It needs to have a hat, or there's like a it's
just like a.
It's a beef stick, man. This
is absolutely a fucking hog. Ain't gonna lie, it's a little scary. A little scary that people like that walk among us with dicks that could split a piece of wood in two.
I would be intimidated just knowing that was around me somewhere. I wouldn't even have to see it.
The worst thing is finding out like one of your friends has a huge dick.
Oh,
because then you're just like, so that's why he's sitting like that,
right? Or like all this time you had all this confidence, and I just thought you were just a dick. And
I thought you were just like a really cool guy, but it turns out like side piping is an all day thing.
It's a habit. Like stunting.
Stunting is a habit. Put it in the house. Stunting is a habit.
Stunting is a habit.
Stunting like my daddy.
That's
who
right.
So my dad once told me a story.
Yeah.
About the father of a couple of my cousins kind of being a piece of shit in the 70s. And, in the 70s, guys wore pretty short track shorts.
Oh, yeah.
And one day he decided to get day drunk after mowing the lawn in my grandma's house in Delwood. There was a hammock set up.
Okay.
So he decided to do a little day drinking.
Sure.
Fell asleep. Turns out his little member creeped out the side of his pant leg and got sunburnt.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. This is not the story I was thinking it was going to be.
And I've always thought about, like, you know what? I may be a fuck up in life, but I've never accidentally sunburnt my dick day drinking.
Of all the things I have had happen while day drinking, that's not one of them. Yeah, that's definitely...
If I decide to have a nice cold beer after mowing the lawn, I get my ass in the side lest I sunburn my prick.
Indeed. Actually, that happened to me today. I mowed the lawn and I said, I got a beer in the fridge. Let's go. But then I said, I'm going to come inside because I am an indoor kid.
Mom said I had to stay inside because my skin's really translucent.
That's right. If it gets any thinner, I'm going to be able to see my brain.
Like one of those weird jellyfish that never sees light.
Yes. Well, I used to work overnight for years and years and years, so like I wouldn't see light.
You kind of have like a mythological creature dusting around the alleyways a la Shadowrun expansion pack.
Yeah, just kind of skittering, you'd call that, or
white peopling. You're honkying around.
I'm honking around.
You're honking around looking for a sandwich with Gouda cheese.
Oh,
Is this where I registered to vote? That's your main call. Is this where I registered to vote?
Cable knit sweater. Cable knit sweater.
Wu-Tang secret. Wu-Tang secret.
Jazz station. That would be because I work.
AOC.
Yeah.
AOC.
Oh, baby. That's the 48 minutes of dogs barking riff of the week.
But you are, by the way, free to use any of these white people mating calls if you are looking to attract a mate. They will not work. I'm just telling you that right now. It's not going to happen.
DSA me.
Well, okay, now that one, all right. Yeah.
I still can't get out of my mind. Remember a couple of months ago, there was that weird guy that was kind of like camera creeping on AOC in DC.
Yeah.
And there was that response video she did where she was obviously distraught, but she said one of those things that's never going out of my head where it's like, there she is, that big booty Latina. And it's always going to be stuck in my head. If I made house music, I would start a drop with that.
Oh, hell yeah. That's that same guy. He went around to, during the early days of the pandemic, he went around to all these city hall meetings and was going, like, spraying sanitizer all over himself and going, vaccinate me all day long, vaccinate me while I sing this song. Same guy. A failed comedian turned right-wing nut job.
It's kind of fucked up what he did. I mean,
Right.
I feel like AOC does not get any passes on anything.
No.
Still really creepy.
Right.
But on the upside, it did get us a big, booty, juicy Latina. The vibrato. It's like...
I think he was trying to work up to a song or something, but he just couldn't get there.
It's like, oh, it's like she sound like the chick from that Metallica song. Nah, 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 nah,
Marianne
nah.
Faithfull?
The famous big booty juicy Latina. Marianne Faithfull.
And some of them were genuinely funny because it's just this guy going nuts at a city hall meeting. All the city hall people have to sit there and listen to him for like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got a clock running, and he's just screaming about, like, give me
Oh.
Pfizer, give me Moderna, stick that vaccine in my sternum.
Vaccinate your mom, vaccinate your dad, vaccinate the happy, vaccinate the sad, vaccinate your babies, vaccinate them, even if they got rabies, vaccinate my life, vaccinate my wife, vaccinate your DNA, vaccine created by the CIA, vaccinate your body, vaccinate me at the party, vaccination freak. Vaccination freak a leak. I want the vaccine in my life.
Like, he's just...
So fucking weird. I mean, have you ever had to sit through like a city
What's
hall, like a city council meeting or anything like that?
I cannot say that I
I
have.
did
no.
during Ferguson, and it was kind of weird because you'd see like all of like the residents.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that some protesters weren't people that lived in Ferguson.
Sure.
But you'd see like all of, like the normal shit that they had to go through, and it would be like some dude going on for 2 minutes about, so the Starbucks they're building, I'm afraid the HVAC is going to be too loud and it's going to disturb me in my home.
Right.
Which may be a valid complaint.
Yeah.
But the way that it's presented in the arena in which it's presented, it's like, oh, this is like paint drying.
Oh, sure.
And you know, and then like the protesters come up and yell at Knowles and some other people, and like, okay, here's the good shit.
Right.
But it was really like people being like, my neighbor's fence is
Here's
not
enough.
in a condition that benefits the good name of our neighborhood.
There's an abatement, and it says he can't have his fence more than 6 inches above my fence, and he just put a new fence up, and it's 12 inches above my fence, and I need somebody to go. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
I've done some of that stuff with some of the other offices on one-to-ones, because there's a whole historical district around here that you have to go and get all these permits for, and you've seen the front porch of the house. You see how it's all reconstructed. We did all this work on it.
Yeah.
We had to go through at least a month of back and forth with them about, like, well, no, it's got this and this pier and this. So familiar with the bureaucracy, not familiar with sitting through a whole meeting of that, because just 10 minutes in that office and I'm ready to put a drill in my ear. So God, I can't imagine.
That sucks.
Yeah,
It's not great.
no. So I guess a guy showing up in scrubs and screaming while throwing hand sanitizer on himself is at least entertaining.
Yeah. There really wasn't a lot to laugh about back then, other than just like people being stupid.
Right.
It's just a flu.
Oh yeah, you love that. You love to see that one. How many people does the flu kill a year? Do the math. Anyway.
I don't know why we're so worried the flu kills 1 million people every winter.
And it's like, well, that seems bad.
That seems
too.
bad too, yeah.
It seems not great.
Seems like we should be doing something about that as well, perhaps.
I guess it's time for the breath mint.
I guess it is.
No more massive hogs.
Nope.
It's this little
It's
stuff white
dinky
people
doo-doo
like.
time, yeah.
Stuff white people like, having diminutive peckers.
Ooh. Speaking of diminutive peckers,
If you're going to make a light bright representation of my penis, you would not have to use a lot of light bright pieces.
2 or 3, I can't. Anyway, speaking of stuff white people like, boy, white people really like superhero movies, don't they, Brian?
Oh, did you watch the superhero movie?
I did indeed. I watched the new Shazam movie, Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Yeah. It sounded like it was a waste of time.
You know, I really enjoyed the first Shazam because it felt really fresh and interesting. I think it did stuff that superhero movies weren't doing at the time. It was very much like a throwback. Like this kind of movie could have been made in the 90s kind of style. Like it felt very of a different time period. Unfortunately, Fury of the Gods falls into the same trap that Black Adam does, and it's just like, it's okay. Helen Mirren is one of these ancient Greek gods who comes back. They're the daughters of Atlas, and so that's neat. Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are the two main villains. You gotta like that. That's kind of fun to watch. It's not something to build a whole 2-hour movie on, but...
When was the last time you saw Lucy Liu in anything?
So Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu being the main baddies was interesting, but not enough to carry a movie. The Zachary Levi is good, but he can't carry the whole movie either. Like, it just kind of falls apart. If you're going to kill 2 hours, there's worse ways to do it.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend Black Adam over that, just because I think the story was better. But
I know I'm really like bored if I'm watching Black Adam, because like I feel like that. I mean, I sat through like Love and Thunder,
right,
and which is one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. At least one of the worst looking modern movies I've ever seen.
It definitely felt really rushed.
Looked like dog shit for how good the third Thor movie was.
Yeah, Ragnarok was like
fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what comic book movies should be like.
Yeah, and the same with the first Shazam. It was very fun. Had this kind of loosey-goosey attitude with the source material. Wasn't doing a lot of stuff. The only entertaining part, I think, is that there's a running joke in both the first and the second Shazam that Shazam, because Shazam is actually a teenage boy, is obsessed with Wonder Woman. And so, like, now that he's a superhero, he thinks he's got a shot with her. That, to me, is funny. And Gal Gadot does show up at the end there for a little cameo. But,
she's a Palestinian child. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, wow, it's Shazam.
But, yeah, she shows up at the end after all the main plot has been resolved, by the way, which is fun. Just to be like, ha-ha. Or, yeah.
I'm Gal Gadot. Oh.
So there's not much to it. It's kind of a trifle of a movie. It's fun.
Oh, Shazam! Did you save the day? Oh,
I don't know what that accent is, but I'm gonna just roll.
Oh, I don't know either.
Speaking of racism, Brian.
Jesus Christ.
We've been tackling the subject all episode long. I might as well just keep it going. I played and finished a David Cage game.
Wow, that is pretty racist of you.
Detroit Become Human.
That's
Brian.
Incredibly racist of you. That's hard R territory.
That is. Detroit Become Human, Brian. Are you familiar with Detroit Become Human?
I've heard it's a fuck. I mean, like all David Cage games, it's kind of a dumpster fire.
It is a really, really hit the nail on the head allegory for race, as androids are in one of the first scenes in the game.
Android with a hard R?
Androids are forced to stand at the back of the bus. Okay.
Oh,
they're not even being subtle with it. I'm telling you. Like, there's oh boy. So the thing about Quantic Dream games, and for those of you in the audience not really familiar with them, they're the ones who did Heavy Rain, your Beyond Two Souls, your Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy, whatever you're gonna call it.
Boy, I'll say it's very interesting that Heavy Rain probably is one of the quickest turnarounds for a game as far as public opinion.
Really?
Because I think people were like, oh, this is so fucking crazy. I remember working with guys at Blockbuster like, this is so fucking wild. Like, all this shit, like, really into the story. My brother was into it. And then, like, I think probably within, like, a year, people were like, actually, this is pretty fucked up hot garbage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is going to happen with a lot of David Cage's games because...
I think
they're not
people,
games.
I think people already like. I think before the reviews were out for Detroit Become Human, or where the fuck it's called, Become Human, Mr. Detroit. What if I told you,
Mr.
Detroit, and his
Billy Crystal character?
God.
It's Mr. Detroit.
Detroit Become Human. I think before like most of the reviews were even out, people were like already knew what their opinion was going to be. There was no like grace period where people are like, oh, there's some interesting ideas here. I think pretty much were like, this deserves to not exist. This was a waste of someone's finite time on Earth.
Well, especially considering like there's considerable talent on screen in it. You got Clancy Brown, one of my favorite That Guy actors. Yeah. You got Lance Hendrickson, small role in it, but it's fucking Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
He plays a robot in the movie, and now he's in a game about robots. You see? Do you get it? Like, they're beating you over the head with it every time he's on screen.
Get it? It's a computer joke.
Their games are not games in the traditional sense. They're mostly a collection of QuickTime events. They're light puzzle solving, you know.
They're really narrative driven.
Very much so. And had it been more like, say, a Telltale game, where it's strictly a matter of what choices you make, visual novel style almost, I think it would have been a better game. And I think if they had really focused, because what the game does poorly is that it tries to tell a story about androids gaining sentience and agitating for their freedom from human society from 3 different characters' perspectives. You've got Marcus, this android who was left for dead and literally rebuilds himself and kind of builds his own army of deviants. This is what they call the androids who break their programming in the game. You've got Kara, who is a caretaker who protects this child from an abusive family and runs away, breaks her programming, right? And then you've got Connor, who is an android created to stop other androids, a la Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
If they had stuck to the Connor storyline, the Blade Runner type storyline, I think it would have been a better experience. Because really what's most interesting to me is navigating Connor through this, tense relationship with this cop with a tragic backstory and just figuring out the case, and you're going through crime scenes and you're trying to... That's the most interesting part to me. Running away from the cops and getting on a bus doesn't quite have the same, or like you can choose to have a violent demonstration or to do a peaceful protest as Marcus, the leader of this, the resistance cell. It's like neither of those things are as interesting in game form as they are to like see in a movie. But the Connor stuff where you're like helping the cops and trying to figure out the case, that's interesting. And if they'd stuck to that, made it a little shorter, skip the QuickTime stuff and just gone like, what your choices matter here, I think you would have had a much tighter experience and probably a better game. Kind of a clunker, wasted about 10 hours of my life on it, which I'm embarrassed about that, but that is going through and seeing 2 of the 5 endings, or the 2 of the 10 endings you can see. After the first 2, I said, I'm good.
I don't think I've ever finished a David Cage game.
The last one was Beyond Two Souls. That was the last one I finished.
I remember people jacking off over Indigo Prophecy quite a bit, but
well, because I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that, and it seems like his fall on the new PlayStation systems coming out, because Indigo Prophecy was groundbreaking for the PS2 era. I think it was just the way you kind of do things that were unprecedented.
Narrative and
And there were certain things like Conversations could do different things. But games since then have done it better, and have kind of improved on that, and they're still kind of stuck in these old ways. So those are the 2 things that really grabbed me. Brian, how about you?
I watched like a couple playthroughs of Beyond Two Souls.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only part I ever really enjoyed was the part where Elliot Page's character goes to the birthday party and you can just almost murder these children.
Yes,
that part's pretty cool.
Well, it's not even you doing it either, so you can feel
it's like the spirit,
which is supposed to be you, the player. It's ridiculous. It's
weird.
Ridiculous.
And also finding out that like there was some guy who programmed or coded a completely nude
model of Elliot Page.
The game did not need that.
Well, and then after that, Naughty Dog got sued by Elliot Page because they thought the Ellie character model was based on that.
Elliot Page had complained that I don't know why they made a character look so much like me. I have my own video game coming out.
That's what it was. Okay, I thought it was something else. Yeah,
I think they changed the model to look less like Elliot,
which works because they're very different games. That is right. That's right. When the first Last of Us was coming out. Okay.
About like 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah. Stop fucking releasing it. Stop fucking releasing releasing Skyrim and that. And Last of Us. Stop fucking releasing it.
I can play Skyrim on my N-Gage.
Yeah.
I'm side rimming.
Side rimming?
Because you're like side talking. on the N-gauge.
It's like you put your head up to someone's ass and lick from the side.
Oh, an ass eater. I used to eat ass until I took an arrow to the knee.
Oh, do you ever get down to Analingus City? Oh, I thought not a commoner like you.
Oh, a Nord would never eat ass.
Oh boy.
Not much in the ways of media consumption. Been messing around with the Mercenaries mode for Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, I heard there was some other stuff that got added with that update. Is there?
There's some easier ways to unlock certain content. It's fun. I hope they add more stuff to it, like more characters and more levels, because right now it's just 3 levels and 4 characters, and they're all fun. The first couple times I played around in the new Mercenaries mode, I didn't really get into it, and I started kind of like finding the rhythm and like how it's different from the original. And so I like it. It's fun. It's a nice little diversion. It would be cool if there was more. I hope there's more, and I hope it's not DLC.
Yeah, I get the feeling it's going to be, because with the Mercenaries update, they added Michael transactions.
Yeah, for unlocking the ultimate stuff of guns, the ultimate characteristic or attribute. Yeah, I hope they add more stuff, because holy crap, I want more stuff. And kind of just have more time to reflect on the remake, and like kind of started my second playthrough. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, now that I know what I'm expecting, like, I can kind of take it a little bit slower and more subjective. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Some of the stuff is good. I like the opening village stuff. I like a lot more second time around, kind of understanding the context a little bit better. I still think the island sucks shit.
Yeah.
I almost say I like the island from the original Resident Evil 4 more, because it's like I'd rather just have that shit show than this new shit show, which you guys thought was better, and it is, but not enough. Yeah, don't really have much of the media consumption. Went to Milwaukee.
Yeah,
with my girlfriend and a couple friends. It was good. It was a little chilly for what we were expecting.
You're going north.
But like kind of sucked because like it was like 70 degrees here in St. Louis, and it's like high of 50.
Yep.
And usually it's warmer in Milwaukee this time of year than St. Louis, which we were a little confused about. But had fun. My girlfriend never been there, and we immediately went to this place on the east side called Ian's Pizza, and like we're parked, and we had been driving for like 5.5 hours. Like we're talking, and like just some dude like walks up to her car and like opens the door.
What?
And she like slams the door, almost crushing his arm, and the real St. Louis almost came out of me, because like I feel like if I was not cognizant of what Milwaukee is like, it was just some old guy who was really fucking confused. Went to, I guess my girlfriend's car is the same color as his car, and he drove, but it was a completely different model and make, not even the same type of sedan, different brand. And we were just like, wow, this would a confused old ass fucker. But like, I'm just thinking like, if someone did that shit like in the Delmar Loop or in the Grove, it would be like, oh, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd be like fucking squaring up. Even if it was an old ass dude, I'd be like, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up? What you on you in the K-hole? What's up?
Yeah, just old ass dude. Just
yeah. So that was my girlfriend's introduction to Milwaukee. It's like, here, we're gonna have some really great pizza, but first you gotta get weirded out by this old dude. Like he opened the door and the car was running too. So it was like one of those things. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you thinking?
And he was like, oh god, I'm sorry. And it was like meandered off to his car and drove off. And I'm
weird, very weird.
But other than that, Milwaukee was great. Got to drive around. Showed her a couple of things. Showed her like Atwater Beach. Showed her like the Airbnb me and my friends stayed in a couple of years ago that eventually got burned down by a hobo, and now there's like the new build. And it's like, yeah, the last time we were here a couple of years ago, this was just like a burnt patch of ground.
Oh my god!
I was kind of just trying to sell her on the city that I think is kind of neat, and I think it worked. Maybe not. I don't know. But we did go to a speakeasy called Don's TV Repair. And my friend who I was looking at like the reservation shit, and I was like, well, you gotta go up to the guy at the counter at the TV repair place / grocery or whatever, and say, I'm looking for an ice cold 7-Up. And I'm like, you gotta say that. And he goes up. And he's like, oh, I heard you guys got cold 7-Up here. And I'm like, and you can see like the guy behind the counter just being like, oh, okay, what's your name? Like one of those things like, oh, cool, you
couldn't remember a simple phrase. Yeah.
Simple phrase, yes. And like when we got seated, he was like, oh, he was so nonchalant, like I didn't like, because he kind of didn't do it right. And then the guy goes over and like pops this thing, and like the 7-Up machine that's attached to the wall pops open. You walk down, and I had a really good boozy milkshake. So my girlfriend,
nice.
Burgers were okay. I think the thing is, like, it was really dirty and dingy feeling, which is not like a great environment for eating food.
Yeah.
Like I kind of felt like, you know what, like maybe my girlfriend and our other friends like didn't have this same like sensory thing. But for me, like, it very bad feelings like growing up in Spanish Lake and being like in the basement of my friend's house playing like Mortal Kombat on Genesis, and like the basement just smelling like mildew and limestone, and like it felt like the aesthetic, the attention to detail was good. There was like, it looked like a basement of a weird TV repair shop / like speakeasy. Yeah. But it was also like a little too dingy for me to feel comfortable eating food in.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I definitely wouldn't want to eat food in my basement.
yeah, no, it was weird, but there was like also like a bunch of old like Zenith signage, and there was a lot of stuff they were doing that was neat. It just wasn't the best environment, I guess, for me to be enjoying what was ended up being a very expensive meal. I think it was like $70 with tip for both of us. Oof. Yeah.
Every meal when I was in New Orleans wound up being $70. I don't know how that kept happening, but
no, do you get po' boy?
Oh God, yeah. Okay. Oh God, 3-4 times in a 5-day trip we got po' boys.
Oh, and like the last day we were in Milwaukee, like we checked out and we were going to get something to eat. We were going to go to Ian's again, but turns out they were closed on Easter, which is whatever. But the hotel we were staying at was right by the Bucs Stadium, and I'm like, well, let's just like walk around there. No, she was like, I want like fucking German food, and I'm like, fuck it, all right, let's go for it. And there's lots of German food, right? Because there's like a good portion of downtown is just like German restaurants. Yeah. And so we go to this German place. It was like the Milwaukee Brat House. Hell yeah. And it's like a sports bar, and she got a really good fucking brat. We both got beer cheese soup, and it was probably the best beer cheese soup I ever had in my life. But like as we're like waiting for food, like when the bartender is like, I think someone bombed a shot, and he like salutes it with like, "Happy birthday, Jesus!" And I'm like,
"Oh God,
oh hell yeah, oh hell yeah!" And like there was also like two people, like one guy was like leaving as we were coming in. He was like talking to another guy at the bar, being like, "No man, you should check out David Lynch, man. It totally be your thing." And I'm like, the fuck is like dudes in Brewers shirts, just being like, "David Lynch, man." One of the all-timers, David Lynch.
Laura Dern, baby, we love her.
Yeah, the log lady's gonna blow your fucking mind, bro.
Matthew Lillard like, making a comeback. Yeah.
And then like we're waiting for the food, and there's like girls walking around booty shorts and shit. And it's like this interesting vibe, because like St. Louis sports fans kind of feel like you're waiting for a race war.
Well, it depends on where you go, but I get what you're saying.
There's nothing enjoyable, I think, observing other people that enjoy. I think the soccer people are fun.
Yeah.
But it's only time before it feels like a white ethno state.
Yeah, there's gonna be that.
But like there's a reason why calling Cardinals fans the greatest fans in baseball is like really sarcastic, because they're kind of the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I imagine there's Met fans that are nicer.
I would imagine, yeah. Hell, I know Cubs fans that are nicer, which is saying something.
Exactly. One of the nicest guys I ever met have fucking Cubs logo tattoo.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, but he was a nice guy. Anyways, just watching how different sports fans, different sports teams in different cities go. And like the bartender, I wish I got a photo of it. I couldn't get the fucking camera, the camera phone to focus. But he was cracking open like the little bottles of Red Bull, like the really small ones. He was keying them open and then pouring vodka in the wound, like stigmata.
Oh wow!
Like they were drinking the Lord's blood.
Yeah,
and they just all just like fucking shotgun these little tiny Red Bulls with maybe a shot and a half of vodka in them.
Jesus,
and just a mess all over the floor. And I'm like, and me and my girlfriend are like, fucking love it.
Yeah,
like oh, we're coming back. And I'm like texting with Bert.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Bert.
Who's never listened to an episode of it and probably doesn't know it exists.
That's fine. He would like our wrestling talk, though. So I'm sure.
I'm sure he would come on here and just be like, fucking animals.
Fucking Trish Stratus, fuck you. You know,
fuck you. Fucking carny bullshit. He's gonna kick my ass.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But I'm like
Mine too. It's okay.
I'm like texting with him, talking about being in Milwaukee. He's like, "Oh, I was just in Milwaukee." And I was like, "Oh, you here for the Brewers?" Because the Cards were playing the Brewers in a series.
Yeah.
And which is fun, like listening to like Cardinals. We did run into a couple Cardinals fans in the city, all bummed that the Brewers were beating our ass. And then our pitching game's shit this year. So what do you think is gonna happen? The only thing we ever have is a fucking pitching game and a couple guys that can hit a dinger.
Yeah.
And maybe once in a while we have a shortstop who, before he gets deported back to the Dominican Republic, plays a couple good seasons.
Ooh, sad but accurate. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, what are we going to do when the catcher guy?
I don't know, man.
When is he retire?
Not yet. I don't think. I haven't.
I love how the ass white people, the most pearl clutching ass white people, love that dude in St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
Like the people that would hate to be in the fucking elevator with a black child.
Yeah. Are
like, oh, I fucking love Marty, or where the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom. So for the people playing at home, the reason I hate Cardinals sports is my mom once made me sit through at the time what was the longest rain delay in MLB history. Yeah.
For a game we were going to lose anyway.
Yeah, I think we did end up losing it. It ended up going really late, and you're like sitting in wet clothes. It fucking sucks shit. So fuck baseball.
Okay.
That's why, like, I go to Milwaukee. I'm like, yeah, I could simp for the fucking Bucks.
Yeah,
because like it's indoors.
Yeah,
like there's no rain delay. There's no rain delay, and like it's not just like the most like easy to hate white people that show up for those games. Like it's everyone in the city.
Right. It's a whole nother deal. Yeah,
it's a whole other deal. It's not everyone's racist uncle and like their fat mom named Bev.
A lot of those.
God. But yeah, no, like. And I like mentioned like, oh yeah, we're getting lunch at the Milwaukee Brat House. He's like, I was trying to go there yesterday before the game, and it was just too fucking crazy. I'm like, man, it's chill right now.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jesus. Still caught me.
Happy birthday, just like I was like, oh, my people.
Yeah.
And then like pouring the stigmata,
the little bit of vodka into the Red Bull can. Yeah.
And then like people are just fucking shooting it, and I'm like, oh, this is my kind of shit show.
Yeah.
Like I'm me and my girlfriend are like, oh, we're definitely coming back here.
Oh, for sure.
Next time we're in Milwaukee.
That sounds like the place to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think my girlfriend might. I don't know. But so that's my breath mint.
Awesome. That's a hell of a good one. We're gonna do our usual thing here and tell you where you can find us online. That's of course 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. You can shoot us an email. Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Brian at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com.
Please send me goatsy.
Yeah, please.
If you've got an uncompressed Daniel Pearl video,
only if it's set to yakety sax. Remember that was the condition.
Oh, his head. His head keeps coming back.
That was the condition. It's got a loop and it's got to be yakety sax. You can also shoot us a text or give us a call 314 AHOY POO 314-246-9766. If you don't like to spell with your telephone. Let's see here. Brian, where can they find you online?
If you want to harass me online, you can find me at iShotGuydibor on Instagram and Twitter. That's ISHOTGUYDBORD. If you want to check out my photography portfolio for some fucking reason, it's assholemusicphotographer.com.
Mr. Producer?
And if you want to see my bad words about music and my bad foes about music, it's amusicphotographer.com. I will be photographing the amazing bass drum of death tomorrow.
Yes.
And I'm thinking I'm going to be photographing Covet.
Hey.
Amazing little math rock guitar dealy there going on there. Yvette Young, probably one of the most impressive young guitarists in the world right now. Big fan of her stuff, particularly the stuff she did during quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got into it with the publicist for 100 Gex, who are playing their hometown show next door, which is sold out. Yeah, I guess I'm an asshole. Jason!
Brian!
Where can they harass you?
Oh, my goodness.
Where can they send their death threats?
Oh, yes. At Videocrime on most social medias. That's VIDEOCRIME. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, I will be at LaserGooseCEO. The show itself is on TikTok, by the way, at 48 Minutes of Dogs. patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. If you'd like to support the program, there are other ways to support the program, by the way. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast thing there, reviews anywhere you see the option to do so, Google, wherever you get your podcasts and you can leave a review. Just doing that is definitely a help for the show. Anytime you see the show mentioned online, giving it a retweet or a like or whatever you like to do, that's up to you. But that's one way to support the show. Don't cost you nothing. Love to do it. We're going to leave you with a little music today.
Oh, what we got today, Jason?
We have a classic from a band that white people really like called McCluskey. You know, McCluskey fan. Over here, Brian.
Oh, I thought you were going to play like Plain White Tees or something.
No, God, no. You couldn't catch me dead playing that.
You could have played one of those little stomp clap bands.
No, God, no. Please.
You should have really leaned into the...
No. Maybe I should have.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You could have played...
Of Monsters and Men.
Of Monsters and Men.
Or Lumineers.
Lumineers, oh God.
Mumford & Sons.
Mumford & Sons, there you go. Mumford & Sons. You could play Lana Del Rey.
Well, see, I like Lana Del Rey, so I don't know if that's...
I still remember covering Lollapalooza and listening to all the photographers being pissed they had to cover Lana Del Rey instead of Nine Inch Nails. And Nine Inch Nails was awesome. I bet Lana Del Rey was
okay.
I'm sure it was very okay.
I wouldn't know. I was listening to Nine Inch Nails. So.
Yeah, I was also at Nine Inch Nails being like, this fucking whips ass.
Yeah.
This is so fucking cool. And then I bet Lana Del Rey was just kind of like, oh...
Everybody loves my pussy. Or whatever she says in that one song.
What if you had a kombucha
that
tasted like my love? I don't know. I've like her. Like I just know like her music's just like shorthand for like she makes Saint Vincent look interesting.
Saint Vincent is interesting.
Well, that era of Saint Vincent.
Oh, I was gonna say like
which Buddy had used to call her the Michael Jordan of being boring. I think St. Vincent has since become a very interesting musician, but like St. Vincent 10 years ago, I was like, yeah, this is a little dry for me.
Yeah, I think once Annie started like shredding
and getting weird,
yeah.
When she started getting weird with it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm into this.
When she started hanging out with David Byrne, then it was really like it was on.
Yeah, I was into that shit. I mean, she wasn't hanging around with Beck,
right? Yeah, it's a very different.
Like being on his cover of Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
That was so fucking weird.
Very odd. But no, the McCluskey is a group that I really enjoy. It's a band that
don't protest in front of their house.
Oh, I got it. I just got that. Okay. I'm gonna brandish weapons at you. I got it. Okay. No, this band is from, I don't even know where they're from. Don't really care. The song's called "Lightsaber Cocksucking Blues." It's a great song with a stupid title. I love those. Well, as we always say at this time, namaste and good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Either you are while you're falling apart and it open a can of worms. And that gun's in my hand and I know it looks bad, but believe me, I'm innocent. And I'm fearful of flying, and flying is fearful of me. And I covered my eyes when she told me the news, turning me on with my lightsaber cocksucking blue.